Doc said this was kind of similar to the Golden State loss, just in that the ball stuck. Offense kind of led to defense.
Yeah.
Just how did, agreeing, I guess, how did you see this one kind of play out in that way?
Yeah, I agree with him. I think a team like this, it was a very similar style to Golden State, knowing that Mike Brown came from Golden State. So, just a lot of movement, a lot of cutting. It just was a lot of action happening on the defensive end for us. And, we knew it was a game that we was going to need to be disciplined. And I think to start the game, we had a few cuts. We had a couple offensive rebounds. A couple of things we just weren't sharp enough, so they got off to a good start. And we also knew that to kind of take them out of transition and being able to play with that pace that they play with, we had to play good offense and execute. So they weren't just getting off the rim, pushing it at us, and our defense was kind of off balance. And we just didn't play good offense either. The ball didn't move. We didn't do the things that, we've been doing when we've played well for each other. The extra passes, the screening, our execution where we just kind of leaning on each other. We weren't good at that on either end of the floor. And end of a road trip against a team, once again, coming off a game they feel like they probably should have won. They were just the sharper team. They were the faster team. They played with better pace and more presence than we did. And, I ain't going to say a bad loss because that's a good team, but it's just we shouldn't lose that way.
Not that you haven't, you've seen everything in terms of defense, but is that part of this still building blocks or process for you and Giannis and also, the other guys as you see these things and need to react to it a little bit? Can you build off Golden State in this one in that way? Just with how you...
You mean for me personally?
Yeah. Or just like the two-man game?
I think
the three-man.
I think just the way that they defended me, it was just aggressive. A lot of times it was two on the ball, and it was times where I tried to attack it and be more aggressive and pick my spots. And I didn't have the greatest possessions at that. Where the ball probably could have moved better. I could have probably got off of it a little bit, but I do think that's part of the process. I think typically in my career I've been able to just kind of, over the course of a game, just attack it. But, obviously it's different, when you want a new team playing with another star player and, a really good team where guys can get things done. You just kind of get in a position where you're trying to find a balance of how often do I just accept a double team and get off of it, and when do I not just allow them to, take me out of doing what I do, where I'm giving it up too much and not really attacking it or, making them have to defend me. And that's kind of the challenge sometimes when the team is playing how they played against me defensively. So, it's part of the season. It's part of, being in this league. And I think everything that's happening right now for us is something that we got to be able to put in our pocket and learn from it and address it and just be better about it as the season comes to a close and when we get to the playoffs.
I think on the night you guys go like 2 of 15 from the corner or maybe 3 of 15, something like that.
We got great looks, too. We got a lot of great looks, and they just didn't go in, you know what I'm saying? So it's things we could have done better, like I said, moving the ball more. We could have done more for each other to help our execution on both ends of the floor. And combined with that, when we did get good looks, we just missed. So it's going to be tough to win a game like that.
One thing Doc kind of mentioned is that giving you guys problems
Yeah.
this year. How do you feel like you guys can combat that kind of going forward? Because I would guess in the playoffs teams are going to, since they've seen your guys' struggles against it, try to do that same thing against you guys.
I think we've, it's given us a harder time. And there's been times we played well against it. And there's obviously these last two, Golden State and tonight, where we struggled with it. But I think it's not something that teams can just come out and say, oh, if we play with pace, we're going to win. I think it's a matter of us just doing the things that make us an elite team. And I just think in these last two games, it just didn't happen. I don't think it's something where you can say, oh, let's play against them like this, because we played this team already and they played fast and we won the game. I just think it's a matter of us understanding that we have to have that discipline and we have to play the game that way to give ourselves a chance in whatever game.
How do you just assess this road trip overall? Look, you guys were doing some things leading into it and even knowing it that you were excited about, but then obviously you still 1-3 record-wise.
Yeah, It happens. Sometimes it happens like that. That's probably not what y'all want to hear, but it does. It's a tough league, and this was a tough trip. You know, you coming on the West Coast, Golden State. They play really well at home. They play an infectious style of basketball, and they got good players. You know, great players, and you know they see the ball go in. They were coming off a bad loss and had some days off, and they had a great game. And then you go to 2 back-to-back games in LA, and those aren't easy games. You know, and finishing the trip with this one is not a easy one either. So a shot away from winning the Laker game, and we probably going home 2-2. Or if we win those 2, we might come in here a little better momentum. You know, we might make this one a better game and win this one. But I mean, it's just you always this much off from this could have been a great trip to you went 1-3, and I think you just got to roll with that and understand what took place. And you know, 14 games left or whatever, 15 games left. We just got to keep addressing those things and keep pushing.
Damn, obviously you wanted to get the W, but what did you think about Jackson's done?
That's shit. I don't. When you're getting beat by 30, I don't typically think it's appropriate to celebrate or even acknowledge a big play that you make. But when he did it, I was like, you know, that was crazy. It's probably dunk of the year so far. So I mean, that was, I guess, one of the rare exceptions to, you know. I don't think nobody celebrated, but we all kind of looked around like that was crazy, you know.